Hey, welcome back to the video number 2 of the series where I'm going to try to bring this guy, the Optimized Health Quick Start Guide, to life. So last video, I basically talked about like where I was and how I became one on and learned about the keto diet, and two, a little bit about how I tried a bunch of different types of diets and nothing really worked for me. And so, you may be asking yourself, what is keto, right? And again, like I said in the last video, this is Mario, the digital marketer's explanation of keto, not a nutritionist, not a health professional, but just kind of what my experience with keto is, right? So my quick explanation of what keto is so the ketogenic diet, I'm gonna put in air quotes, is a diet. I'd call it more of a lifestyle. It's like a way of living, a way of eating that is really designed to help get your body into a state of ketosis. Because when your body is in a state of ketosis, it is basically using a fuel source of fat and ketones as opposed to the normal way that most of our bodies use a fuel source, which is going to be like carbs and glucose, right? So basically what it is, it's a way of like hacking your body so that it uses the fat that you have on your body as a fuel source. And it's awesome, right? There's just a lot of studies out there and a lot of documented benefits. But the basic way that you can get your body into that state of ketosis is by eating a diet that's high in fat, low, like very low in carbs, and basically moderate protein, right? And so that's basically the ketogenic diet in a nutshell. It's a diet designed to get your body into a state of ketosis, and it's generally high fat, low carb, moderate protein. And switch to the ketogenic diet like literally immediately. The fat that was on my body, there was a lot of it, over 29 pounds, like started melting away. And it happened pretty quickly, like probably, no kidding, within about 2 months. I lost over 30 pounds. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm losing muscle per se. Like it was just excess fat. Like my body was bloated. I had inflammation, etc. And when I switched my diet, when I took carbs out, when I increased my fat, like I didn't feel that way anymore, and I got all the benefits. And the funny thing is too, because the hypothesis is that fat is a more dense fuel source. I was hungry less too. A lot of times, like I've done it before. Like I've gone on a diet, and like the general advice is like, hey, if you want to lose weight, just lower your calories and work out more. But then that puts you even more at a greater calorie deficit. I'm not going to get into it, but most of the diets that I tried before, I was hungry. I didn't feel that way when I really changed my eating habits. But the thing about the keto diet is that there are some ground rules, basically, right? Because the idea is you are what I call like flipping a switch. You're hacking your body so that rather than going to the form that your body's probably used to, the way of burning calories and having energy is generally by using carbohydrates and glucose. And so you're basically, again, like flipping the switch so that your body is still getting the required nutrients and all the the ability to function, right? Have all its primary functions, but fuel source of fat to do that. So there's some pretty important ground rules. So the first one that I recommend, right, as a ground rule, is just like no cheating, because the ketogenic diet is basically you have to deplete all of your carbs, because your body's going to go to the easiest fuel source, and carbs is generally the easiest fuel source for your body to use for energy. So if you have your body, it'll basically, one, either not get you into a state of ketosis, or if you're in a state of ketosis, it may knock you out of ketosis. So most people say, oh, I got to have a cheat day, right? If I'm on a diet, like I'm going to follow it very prescriptively, but on Saturdays, I'm going to take my diet off. And I would even call it like basically the epitome of like a yo-yo diet, where it's like you're on and off, up and down, up and down. But because it's not just like a calorie restriction, et cetera, it's not temporary. This is basically permanent. You can't cheat, because when you reintroduce carbs back into your system, it creates a lot. It gives your body the ability to go back into the form of burning energy that you were, right? So you don't get all the benefits. So there's basically no cheating on the keto diet. But in addition to that, like my next ground rule, and what I strongly recommend is that you choose clean over dirty. There is a lot of, like, if you type in dirty keto on the internet, it'll be like people who take pictures of like the Wendy's Baconator with, 6 patties and like 30 pieces of bacon or cheese, and they're like hashtag keto, right? And hypothetically, that is high fat, low carb, but I just don't feel like that's the way that we should be treating our bodies. It may technically be keto, but I just can't condone it, right? And again, I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm just telling you what works for me. And remember, this is from the guy that was a vegan, so I have no problem eating salads, but I just, like, honestly, I can't condone the idea of 6 meat patties, 14 pieces of bacon and cheese, and then calling that keto. I think that goes to my last point is, and I said this in the last video, don't reward yourself with food. A lot of the times too, we want to like treat ourselves to a fancy meal or a dessert or something like that. And while I get that, it makes sense, but we're not animals, we're not dogs. We don't need the little Pavlov reward or whatever it was, right? We don't need that, right? Because we're logical, emotional human beings that get to decide what a reward system is. And I just don't think that food should be a way of reward system, because, and I guess this is the last point, like, remember your why, right? Remember the reason why, like, if you're someone who's evaluating, making this change into being, keto or keto entrepreneur like me, there's probably, a real burning reason why you're like, I have to do something drastic. I have to do something different. Everybody's zigging and it's not working for me, so I got to zag. So there probably is a really compelling reason why you want to make this change, and you feel like you need to make this change. So just remember that, as it relates to, clean eating, as it relates to no cheating, as it relates to like not rewarding food. So with that, I'll go ahead and cut this video right here. The next video, I'm going to go into each one of the steps that I outlined, and then basically provide a little more color, more context on each one of those. So see you guys in the next video.